Hit us at any time. We got rumors on the way?
Yes, let's talk about Tiana Taylor, find out what's going on with her new music. Also, Nicole Eggert, you know her from Charles in Charge, and she has recently spoken out about sexual assault at the hands of Scott Baio. We'll tell you what she had to say.
All right, we'll get into all that and more. Keep it locked. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning. JNV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. Let's get to the rumors. Let's talk Meek Mill.
Now, we've been following Meek Mill's case very carefully, hoping that he gets released from prison. And Angie Martinez sat down with Meek Mill's lawyer, Jordan Seb, yesterday, and we have some audio for you before you can hear it anywhere else. Now, here is what Jordan had to say about Meek Mill and the judge and how the judge is too emotionally invested.
The issue that we have that we've raised in court filings is we think that Judge Brinkley has taken an unusual interest in his career and has stepped over the line from acting solely as a judge should act and injecting herself into his professional career in ways that are not appropriate. And we've set forth all of those in a motion to have her recuse herself that we filed shortly after the sentencing.
It's obvious she's too emotionally invested in what Meek got going on, though.
She knows the music. She wants him to do certain songs. All right, the lawyer, Jordan Seb, also said that the judge is assuming a role that is beyond her role.
What we've said in our filings is she's assumed a role that goes beyond the judge's judicial function in getting involved in things like his management and all. It's just simply not appropriate, and she can't fairly preside over this case, which is why we sought recusal, a motion that she still to this day, 2.5 months later, hasn't responded to.
Right. And it seems she's trying to be the judge, the jury, and the executioner all at the same time.
Definitely seems like she is.
Yeah, it's like a big celebrity case for her. Now, in addition to that, lawyer Jordan Seb talks about visiting Meek Mill in jail and his spirit.
I visited him in jail.
How's he doing?
You know, he's doing as well as you can expect. There's been obviously a lot of talk about the Eagles celebrating to his music and practicing to his music.
And I don't know, that just touched me so much.
He's you know, he's really taken to that, and he's a Philly guy through and through, and he's holding up, and he wants justice. He wants to get out of jail, and he wants this sentence thrown out, which is what we all want.
Go ahead, ask your question.
If I was in the studio with Angie, you know my question would have been for Jordan. Jordan, I know you Meek's lawyer, but if you had one choice and you had to either choose for him to get out, parole, no probation, or for the Eagles to win this Sunday, which one would you choose?
He definitely wants Meek to come home.
People from Philly, I'm telling you, this question is like a trick question that they do not know how to reply. I'm
Meek
telling
has
you.
to come out.
Listen, I've been doing a poll all week. It's about 60-40.
Or whose side?
Because everybody's like, look, Meek coming home. But we don't know when the Eagles going to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah,
they're not going to win a Super Bowl ever, right?
I'm sure even the Eagles want Meek to come home.
All right,
I don't know about that.
Now you're reaching.
All right, and speaking of jail, DMX is going back to jail. He was taken into custody yesterday in Manhattan for failing drug tests, which is a violation of his probation for his whole tax evasion case. We saw a video of him in the airport buying drinks, buying shots for everybody, and clearly he can't do that. He's supposed to be completing rehab while he's out on bail, and they let him travel a little bit so he could perform. He got some leeway for that, but he was in St. Louis at the bar in the airport, and he was drinking and doing all of that, so that's a probation violation as well. DMX's attorney said, "I'm saddened and disappointed. We'll have to deal with it accordingly." He's going to try to get DMX back into rehab, and he's going to be sentenced now in March.
Well, DMX can't ever get the help he needs because they never sending him to rehab. They always sending him to jail.
He was in rehab.
He needs more rehab, less jail.
He was in
next to jail.
He was in rehab while he was out on bail, and he was supposed to be able to travel and have some leeway for that, but he failed.
Well, give him more intense rehab. Send him DMX to jail.
They had somebody with them. They actually had the rehab coach traveling with him at one time.
And he got violated for serving drinks to people?
He was buying shots.
Was he drinking?
And it's all on video, so...
Was he drinking?
Yes.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm Angela Yee, and that's your rumor report.
All right. Let's get to the rumors. Let's talk Alessia Cara.
By now, you know Alessia Cara won for Best New Artist at the Grammys.
Since
and
got
people
robbed.
were upset about that and saying that she's not a new artist. Her songs came out in 2015.
That's a fact. Her debut album came out in 2015.
Now, she has been getting a lot of backlash, people telling her that she sucks, death threats and everything on social media, and she posted, to address the apparent backlash regarding winning something I had no control over, I didn't log on to Grammy.com and submit myself. That's not how it works. I didn't ask to be submitted either because there are other artists that deserve the acknowledgement, but I was nominated and won, and I'm not going to be upset about something I've wanted since I was a kid, not to mention have worked really hard for. I meant everything I said about everyone deserving the same shot. Now she goes on to say, I will not let everything I've worked for be diminished by people taking offense to my accomplishments and feeling the need to tell me how much I suck. Here's something fun. I've been thinking I suck since I was old enough to know what sucking meant. I beat you to it, and that's why this means a lot to me. Despite my 183,625 insecurities, I've been shown that what I created is worth something and that people actually give a ish. All of the years feeling like I wasn't good at anything or that I was naive for dreaming about something improbable have paid off in a way that I have yet to process. I know it sounds cheesy and dumb, but it's the honest truth. Thanks to everyone who showed me kindness and support along the way. I'll stop talking now.
Well, too much explaining, Alessia. You won. First of all, Alessia Cara is very talented. Do I think SZA got robbed? Yes, but why are you focusing on the people who just have an opinion and think that it should have went to SZA?
Well,
why not focus on the people that are showing you love and saying yes?
She's not even saying just the people that said it should have went to SZA, just in general. And I can see she's 21 years old. People are telling her she sucks. She's getting death threats. And it's been overwhelming.
So what?
So it is hard when you won something. It's easy to say, but and she talks about her insecurities and not even thinking this would ever be possible. And people can be very cruel, as we know. So I know it's difficult
you won,
for her.
Alessia Cara. Throw that trophy up.
Yeah, congrats.
Wipe your tears with some money. You'll be fine.
But there's nothing wrong with her addressing the backlash if she feels like
she's actually feeding the trolls, and that just makes the trolls go harder. Nobody cares about your feelings on social media. When will y'all realize this?
All right, well, she said her piece. And then she's an artist. She expresses herself. That's what she was doing. Now, let's talk about Nicole, Eggert, and Scott Baio from Charles in Charge. Now, there's these allegations that she has brought up. She was on Megyn Kelly's show, and she was also on with Dr. Oz. And Dr. Oz, actually, she recorded that interview quite some time ago, and they decided not to air it because they said they had issues with her timeline. Well, they have gone ahead and decided to air that interview after all. The show was filmed January 10th. They got a cease and desist from Scott Baio's lawyer, and now they have aired it, and here is some of what Nicole Eggert had to say about being on Charles in Charge and Scott Baio molesting her.
How old were you?
17.
So that would make Scott 28?
28, somewhere in there.
And did you tell anybody?
No. And in fact, I didn't even tell the boyfriend I got after that, who was my age. I think he believes that it was my first time. And the older I got, the more shame came into play. Wow. And the more people asked me in my personal life, didn't you date Scott Baio, or aren't you dating Scott Baio? It was like, oh my God, no. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I thought, that is the strangest question. And that people just honestly asked, and that they seemed to be okay with it.
All right, well, she goes on to talk about on Megyn Kelly's show, she says that he, can I say finger?
He digitally penetrated.
When she was 14, and she said ultimately she had sex with him at 17. Now, Scott Baio has defended himself. He says these are false allegations. He said he only had sex with her after she turned 18. He did a whole Facebook post saying that she was lying, and he said, he posted the letter that was sent to the Dr. Oz show when she attempted to pitch her story to them. He said after they reviewed this evidence of her deceit, which is not only in her own words, but actually in her own voice, they canceled the planned show. Other media has since done the same. And he said that she started tweeting about this again last year, shortly after the major stories broke about sexual harassment and entertainment. My attorney sent her and Alex Polinsky a letter advising and requesting they take their allegations to law enforcement for a full investigation. They have refused to do so. Now,
this is so crazy to me simply because I thought Scott Baio was dead. I thought he endorsed Trump and then died shortly after.
Scott Baio is currently on Good Morning America as we speak, and I've actually been pulling audio of what he has to say to defend himself. Check it out.
What happened with you and Nicole when she was 14, 15, 16?
Absolutely nothing. And I find it interesting, Amy, that the moment that her first allegation that we had sex when she was 17, which is not true, as soon as that was proven to be 100% false, she comes up with a news story where something happened once a week for years.
All right. And when she said, when he said that she should press charges, file a police report, she responded, "Be careful what you wish for." So we'll keep on letting you know what's happening.
I can't believe people care what Scott Baio has to say in 2018.
Well, he's really vehemently denying this, and he's actually doing press and everything to try to,
I guess, clear his name.
All right. Well, I'm Angela Yee, and that is your rumor report.
All right. Thank you, Miss Yee. All right, but anyway, let's get to the rumors. Let's talk, Kevin.
Well, Kevin Hart, tickets for his Irresponsible tour are on sale now. I was looking at all the dates, right? A lot of them are sold out. However, if you are in Fargo, North Dakota, you can still get tickets.
Fargo? I've never even heard of Fargo, North Dakota.
You never seen the movie Fargo?
That's about North Dakota?
Yeah, that's where it was.
I thought that was about the banks.
That would be well. Anyway, go ahead.
Let me see where else can you. But anyway, he put out a trailer for his tour, and Nico's in the trailer. He's on the private jet. He's always late, and here's what happens.
We've been here waiting, I don't even know how long. Shut up! Excuse me? Put all y'all asses back on a commercial flight. I'm the boss.
You're the boss of what?
Oh,
What you doing? I'm going on tour with you. Ain't gonna be no more stupid Take the bag and go get the baby.
Man, drop on a clue bomb for Nicole Hart. They is such a good sport. Kevin Hart, you better write a relationship book soon. I don't know how you pulled that off.
But you know, that's some truth too, though. I'm going with you. We all going on tour. Right?
We are going on tour.
By the way, that keeps you out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? The same way Lionel used to always have his blanket on Charlie Brown, you got to bring your wife with you. That's your blanket. It's a security blanket.
All right, now let's talk about Russell Simmons. Now, we told you about the woman, Jennifer Jarosik. She's one of 6 women who are saying that Russell Simmons raped them. Those are the claims. And she was on Megyn Kelly on NBC, and she was talking about why she's filing this $5 million lawsuit against him. Well, she starts off talking about the first incident where she claims that he raped her after an interview.
So after the interview, he had asked my director to leave the room. He wanted to speak with me privately. And he aggressively came on to me. He started to kiss me, and then he raped me.
Did you communicate to him you did not want him, you did not want to do it?
Absolutely, yeah. I tried to force him off, but it happened so quickly. And I just froze. I think I just froze.
What year was this?
I don't know.
This was in 2011.
See, I'm interested in seeing how this plays out because the statute of limitations isn't up for her to press criminal charges. So why is she going for the money first?
All right, well, she goes on to talk about staying friends with him even after this incident.
I feel that I was weak in some ways, and I feel like I depended upon him possibly to help with my film. And also he was a friend, so it was all, I kind of blamed myself, and I felt that I'm also very forgiving.
All right, she goes on to discuss a second incident that happened, allegedly, where she says he assaulted her in 2016 in LA.
So I went over to his house in Los Angeles, and we were having a meeting, and he pushed me and forced himself on top of me, and I hit my head this time. That was it.
So wait, I'm confused.
2016 was last year.
So she allegedly raped her the first time.
In 2011.
And then she came back, and then he raped her again, allegedly.
Yeah, she said he had agreed to co-produce and finance her film, so she went over there, and this is what she is claiming happened.
So why wouldn't you just press criminal charges if this just happened last year? Why are you going
Well, I don't know that she's not going to do that. Now, here is what she has to say about a conversation she had with him after this.
He told me, Jennifer, I think it's time we promote something like your film. And I was shocked and I was conflicted, obviously, because of what had happened to me. When I found out was a couple days later. And I texted him what's going on, and he called me back. He said, my life's being threatened and I'm deeply hurt by everything that's happening right now. And I said, well, what are you going to do? And he said, I didn't do it. That's when I said, but it happened to me.
I'm not here to discredit the accuser. I'm not here to discredit the accused. All I'm saying is her situation doesn't sound like time's up. It sounds like time to get paid.
Well, I can't say what it is. And Russell Simmons has responded, and he's basically, of course, denying all these allegations. Again, he said, all of my relations have been consensual. I look forward to having my day in court, where, unlike the court of public opinion, I will have the ability to make use of fair processes that ensure that justice will be done and that the full truth will be known.
So what happens in a court case like this, though? Do they go to they go to court and they have to put all of these facts out for her to get the $5 million? I'm confused.
Well, that's a civil, but this is criminal. But I don't know how.
It's not criminal though. She's suing him for $5 million.
Well, that's civil. That's totally something.
And that's what I mean. Like, why wouldn't you go for the criminal case first, then the civil?
Well, it's easier to win a civil case than a criminal case because you don't necessarily need the I guess. The evidence.
I just feel like from what I'm hearing...
Sometimes people lose a criminal case and still win a civil case.
Right?
From what I'm hearing, it sounds like a crime happened. So why wouldn't you try to get this person arrested for their crime?
But because if you do win a criminal case, 9 times out of 10 you win the civil.
But after a civil, you can still do a criminal, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so maybe she's doing... I don't
know if you can. Matter of fact, I don't know.
Say what happened. But
anyway.
All right, just putting it out there so you know her side of the story, and Russell Simmons has denied it. I guess we'll see what happens when he ends up in court.
Okay.
All right, I'm Angela Yee, and that's your Rumor Report.
All right, shout out to Revolt. We'll see you guys tomorrow. The People's Choice Mix is up next. Let me know what you want to hear. It's The Breakfast.